Hello students, welcome to your WebSeek Academy English channel. Today, we are going to discuss the lesson When Cities Were Nature's Heaven, which is part of the first semester BCA English syllabus. This insightful essay is written by Harini Nagendra, an ecologist and writer known for her work on urban ecology and sustainability. About Harini Nagendra. Harini Nagendra is a professor at the School of Development at Azim Premji University, Bangalore. Her research focuses on questions of social-ecological sustainability in Indian forests and cities, with two main areas of interest: understanding the drivers of forest change in South Asia and the impact of urbanization on ecological sustainability in India. She is interested in seeing how people can be positive and negative agents of change, bringing about ecosystem degradation in some contexts, and providing protection and restoration in others. Her ongoing program of research on biodiversity, green spaces and lakes in Bangalore includes close engagement with local communities and colleges and popular writing and outreach for local audiences. When Cities Were Nature's Heaven summary. The author challenges the common belief that nature and cities are incompatible. Harini Nagendra's research on Bangalore illustrates how the city thrived due to its integration with nature, not despite it. This ecological symbiosis supported its growth for centuries. Drawing insights from her book Nature in the City, Bangalore in the Past, Present, and Future, the author delves into the city's ecological history since the 6th century CE. Ancient inscriptions depict a holistic understanding of nature, emphasizing the interdependence of lakes, wells, and trees, which provided water, food, and shade, creating a sustainable environment. By the late 19th and 20th centuries, Bangalore's water bodies began to diminish. The city transitioned from using lakes and wells to relying on piped water. The neglect led to the conversion of lakes into urban infrastructure like bus stands and malls, and wells became polluted. Rituals that once celebrated water bodies faded, marking a disconnect from nature. The dependence on imported water systems disrupted Bangalore's relationship with its natural resources. However, as the city's growth strained external water supplies, citizens revived efforts to restore lakes and wells in their neighborhoods. This movement was particularly impactful in low-income areas, where water scarcity remains a pressing issue. Historically, Bangalore's residents and rulers planted millions of trees to transform the arid landscape. These trees provided multiple benefits, including shade, food, and firewood. The city's greenery made it a desirable location for the British Army and later an industrial hub. By the late 20th century, rapid urbanization and infrastructure development led to large-scale tree felling, contributing to rising temperatures and air pollution. The research highlighted the cooling and pollution-reducing effects of trees, but the focus on development marginalized ecological concerns. Despite the challenges, citizen-led environmental movements persisted. Honnamma Govindaya's legal battle to save a local park exemplifies these efforts. The victory against a proposed steel flyover that threatened thousands of trees highlighted the impact of collective action. Social media emerged as a powerful tool for environmental activism, connecting people and amplifying their voices. Campaigns like Hush Steel Flyover Bida demonstrated their role in uniting citizens and influencing policy decisions. Understanding Bangalore's ecological history reveals the vital connection between nature and urban resilience. The city's past underscores the importance of integrating nature into urban planning for a sustainable future, offering lessons for cities worldwide. Short answer questions. 1. What was the initial reason for the growth of settlements in Bangalore? Answer. Settlements in Bangalore grew initially because of their integration with nature, especially the creation of tanks or lakes to collect rainwater, which was essential in a low rainfall environment. 2. How did the attitude towards lakes change over time? Answer. Lakes were initially considered sacred and life-giving, celebrated with rituals, but over time, they were neglected, polluted, and converted into built spaces due to the introduction of piped water and urban development. 3. How did citizens respond to the city's environmental challenges? Answer. Citizens responded by organizing movements to restore and protect lakes, wells, and green spaces. They engaged in protests and legal battles and used social media to raise awareness and pressure authorities. 4. What was the primary cause of Bangalore's environmental degradation? Answer. Importing water from outside. 5. What is the key takeaway for other cities facing similar issues? Answer. The coexistence of nature with humans. 6. Honnamma Govindayya fought against. Who wanted to? Answer. Real estate developers convert a local park into built spaces. Answer each of the following questions in about one page. 1. What is the central argument of the text regarding the relationship between Bangalore and nature? Answer. The central argument of Harini Nagendra's text is that nature and cities are not inherently oppositional but can coexist and thrive together. Using Bangalore as an example, the text highlights how, historically, the city grew and sustained itself by being deeply connected with its natural environment. The integration of water systems, agriculture, and greenery into the city's structure not only supported its population but also nurtured a harmonious relationship with nature. This symbiotic relationship, however, has been disrupted over time due to urbanization and modern development practices, leading to significant ecological challenges. 2. How does the text challenge the common perception of cities as being antithetical to nature? Answer. The text challenges the perception that cities are antithetical to nature by demonstrating how Bangalore's development was historically rooted in its natural environment. Ancient practices involved creating tanks and lakes to collect rainwater, which were essential for survival in a low rainfall area. These water bodies were considered sacred and were part of a holistic view of the landscape that included trees and wells. Furthermore, successive rulers and citizens actively greened the city by planting and nurturing trees. This deep connection between urban development and nature, as detailed in the text, serves as evidence that cities and nature can support each other rather than exist in opposition. 3. What is the significance of the three-dimensional view of the landscape as described in the text? Answer. The three-dimensional view of the landscape signifies a holistic and sustainable understanding of nature by Bangalore's early residents. This concept involved the integration of two vital resources, water and food, supported by natural elements like lakes, wells, and trees. Lakes provided water for irrigation, wells supplied drinking water, and trees offered shade, food, and firewood. This multidimensional view reflects a balanced approach to resource management that allows communities to thrive in harmony with their environment. It stands in stark contrast to the modern fragmented perspective, which often overlooks the interconnectedness of natural resources. 4. How did the city's development impact its ecological balance? Answer. Bangalore's rapid urban development disrupted its ecological balance. As the city expanded, lakes and wells, which had historically provided water, were neglected and polluted. Many lakes were filled in and converted into infrastructure like bus stands, malls, and housing complexes. Trees were felled in large numbers to make way for roads and other built structures, leading to increased temperatures and air pollution. The introduction of piped water from external sources also broke the local loop of dependence on natural resources, causing citizens to lose their sense of connection with nature. This unplanned development strained the city's environment and led to significant ecological degradation. 5. What role did citizens play in addressing the environmental challenges faced by Bangalore? Answer. Citizens played a crucial role in combating the environmental challenges in Bangalore. As natural resources declined and urbanization escalated, many community-led movements emerged to restore and protect the city's lakes, wells, and green spaces. Individuals like Honnamma Govindaya led legal battles to save local parks, while mass protests, such as those against the construction of a steel flyover that would have destroyed thousands of trees, highlighted the collective power of citizen activism. Social media became a vital tool for mobilizing public opinion, exemplified by campaigns like Hush Steel Flyover. These movements underscored the resilience of citizens in safeguarding Bangalore's environment and emphasized the importance of community involvement in urban ecological restoration. Answer each of the following questions in about 2 pages. 1. Does the text contribute to the ongoing discourse on the relationship between urbanization and environmental sustainability? Discuss. Answer. Yes. Harini Nagendra's When Cities Were Nature's Heaven significantly contributes to the discourse on urbanization and environmental sustainability by offering a nuanced historical and contemporary perspective on the interplay between cities and nature. The text challenges the prevalent notion that urban growth must come at the expense of environmental health. Using Bangalore as a case study, it illustrates how the city historically thrived by integrating natural elements into its urban fabric, such as the use of lakes for water storage and trees for cooling and sustenance. This historical model demonstrates that cities can not only coexist with nature but can also depend on it for sustainable development. The text critiques the modern trajectory of urbanization, which often prioritizes infrastructure and economic growth over ecological balance. Bangalore's shift from a city in harmony with nature to one plagued by environmental degradation exemplifies this tension. The loss of water bodies, deforestation, and reliance on external resources highlights the negative impacts of unplanned urban growth. By juxtaposing this with citizen-led efforts to restore the city's natural elements, the text emphasizes that sustainable urbanization is achievable through community involvement and a reimagined approach to urban planning. In the larger discourse, the text contributes a hopeful narrative, suggesting that urbanization does not have to be synonymous with ecological destruction. It argues for revisiting historical practices, integrating local natural resources, and fostering a deeper connection between residents and their environment to achieve long-term sustainability. 2. How does the text propose a more integrated approach to urban planning? Answer. The text advocates for a more integrated approach to urban planning by emphasizing the importance of reconnecting cities with their natural ecosystems. Harini Nagendra highlights Bangalore's historical model of urban development, where water bodies, trees, and green spaces were integral to the city's layout and survival. This approach ensured a balanced relationship between human needs and environmental preservation, promoting sustainability and resilience. The text proposes that urban planners should adopt a three-dimensional view of the landscape, as practiced in ancient Bangalore. This model integrated water management systems, lakes and wells, agriculture, and tree cover, creating a self-sustaining loop of natural resources. Such a framework could be adapted to modern cities by prioritizing the restoration of natural elements like lakes and forests, preserving green spaces, and incorporating them into urban design. Additionally, The text underscores the importance of local community involvement in urban planning. Citizen movements to protect Bangalore's lakes and green spaces demonstrate that public participation can lead to more inclusive and effective urban policies. Social media's role in mobilizing people and advocating for sustainable development is highlighted as a modern tool to support this integrated approach. Nagendra's emphasis on blending historical insights with contemporary strategies suggests that urban planning should not only focus on infrastructure but also prioritize environmental preservation and community engagement for a sustainable future. 3. Elaborate on how the text illustrates the complex interplay between environmental conservation and citizen activism in Bangalore. Answer. The text vividly portrays the intricate relationship between environmental conservation and citizen activism in Bangalore by showcasing how residents have continually played a pivotal role in protecting the city's natural resources. Despite the ecological degradation caused by rapid urbanization, citizens have risen to address these challenges, demonstrating a profound commitment to conservation. The text recounts instances where individuals and communities mobilized to save Bangalore's green spaces and water bodies. A prominent example is Honnamma Govindaya, who fought against real estate developers to preserve a local park, taking her case to the Supreme Court and achieving victory. Similarly, large-scale citizen protests, such as the movement against the Steel Flyover project, highlight the power of collective action in preventing the destruction of thousands of trees. These efforts were amplified through social media campaigns like #SteelFlyover, which united people across the city and pressured authorities to reconsider environmentally harmful decisions. Nagendra also emphasizes the role of grassroots initiatives in restoring neglected lakes and wells. In low-income settlements, communities have worked to protect and maintain local wells, addressing water scarcity and fostering a sense of shared responsibility. These actions reflect how citizens can reclaim their environment even in the face of systemic neglect. The text underscores that while urban development often sidelines nature, citizen activism serves as a counterbalance, advocating for sustainability and accountability. This dynamic interplay between environmental conservation and activism reveals the critical role of communities in shaping urban landscapes and ensuring that ecological concerns remain central to urban planning. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Webseek Academy for more English lessons and notes. See you in the next video. Until then, keep reading, keep leading.